We created this really quick and easy, fun look that really goes along with Jen's personal preferences. My name is Meagan Brown. I'm a professional makeup artist, and I help teach people how to enhance their features while looking natural in a minimal amount of time. And this is one of my best friends, Jen. She is also an amazing photographer. We've been working together for years. So we're creating a video series, and we're talking more about our photo shoots and how to work with us. And so, of course, I had to get her ready with makeup and hair to get ready for those other videos. So that is what this video is for. But when creating this look, I really took into account what Jen's personal preferences are, and I would love to hear from your perspective what that is.
So I love to just feel very natural, radiant, sun-kissed, like I just came from the beach. Like literally my favorite is when I'm at the beach, I get a little bit of glow from the sun, I've jumped in the ocean, so my hair is kind of wild. You always create these looks on me that feel like that, but elevated, like more put together.
Yeah, so obviously, using makeup to create a sun-kissed mermaid vibe, you have to go about it very particularly. You can't put a whole bunch of makeup on, and it also needs to be quick and easy. Like, you're a single mom of 2, so you don't have a lot of time, and you also love to spend time within your art, and doing your makeup and getting ready is not a priority. So when you do that, you need it to be very minimal steps, quick and easy, and just something that makes her feel exactly like how she described. So to watch the series of what we're about to film, go ahead and click on the link above or check it out in the description when you're done watching this video. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump into the makeup application. Here we go. All right, we're gonna jump right into the application, and I already started by prepping her skin with this fresh black tea instant perfecting mask, and this is just gonna help smooth, brighten her skin, and have it prepped ready for makeup. Next, I am going to use the Daydream Moisturizer by Dermatology, just to give her skin nice hydrating effect with a nice creamy moisturizer.
That feels so nice.
Yes, hydration. Just starting this mermaid glowy look off from the very beginning by just continuing to add really hydrating and glowy products. Next, I'm actually going to use the Dermatology Universal Tinted Moisturizer. I really love this product because it just has a really nice glow to it. So instead of just using it as moisturizer on its own, I kind of like to use it on top of another moisturizer just because it gives the skin a really nice glowy effect. And for self-application, I don't always recommend using a foundation brush. I typically just use my fingers, but when I'm applying makeup on anyone else, I will usually first get the product onto the skin using a foundation brush and then really work it in with my fingertips and my hands. And at the very beginning of every single application, whether it's before moisturizer or after, hydrating your lips is also essential because you want to give your lips as much time to soak in that product for whether you're going to put lip product on or not. Hydrated lips are always a must. So I'm using the Laneige Sleep Mask, and I'm just gonna let this sit on her lips the entire time.
That feels great too.
Yeah,
I love it.
We're gonna jump into complexion. So I'm gonna go straight into bronzer, blush, and use a concealer to help even out her skin tone, but also use it as a highlight, as in contour and highlight, not as in a illuminating product. I'll get to that a little bit later, but just to explain where we're gonna go. I'm gonna start with bronzer, and I actually got this beauty blender wet already. I can't get any additional water out of the sponge, but it definitely is like a...
Yeah, it's just got like this moisture to it, kind of like a hydrated skin or something.
Yeah. I always find that it helps blend out the product without soaking up too much product if it is damp instead of completely dry. And I'm just gonna move your hair so that way nothing gets stuck in the makeup or I don't get any makeup in your hair. And by the way, I already started by doing her hair. I forgot to mention that at the very beginning, but I just used the Bondi Boost Wave Crimper, which is like your go-to hairstyle that you love.
I love it.
Definitely creates those mermaid vibes.
Yeah, I love it because like since my hair is naturally wavy too, I can just use it like for a couple little pieces if I don't have a lot of time, or I can do the whole head.
Yeah, you don't have to do all of your hair to get the effect. You can just choose a couple of key places and get that same overall look.
Yeah, if I'm running out the door, I can just do it, and then I feel like just a little more special put together.
Yes. Okay, so as you can see, I quickly applied some of the product with my fingertips, and now I'm just blending it out with the Beauty Blender. Now, Jen does not like to wear a lot of makeup, and so I am not going to start by putting a foundation on her. We're actually going to not wear a foundation at all for today, and we're just choosing a couple of key products that are really going to give her the effect that I know that she likes, which is more minimal and effortless, but with a little bit of effort, obviously.
I'm really excited because then I'm going to be able to actually do this.
Yeah, you can just watch this video.
Yes!
So, as I already mentioned, Jen is one of my close friends, but we also work together a lot doing photo shoots and working with the same clients. And we've also had a lot of fun adventures together with some of the shoots that we've done. From Hawaii to Tulum to Miami.
Yeah.
Where else have we been? Yosemite. Lots of places.
The desert.
Yeah, and within each adventure, they all have their own like stories to them, which is hilarious in its own way. Which story should we tell? We were trying to figure this out ahead of time, and we decided to wait for this conversation right now. What's a really funny story, or like one of the best stories that we have?
I mean, I still think probably my favorite is going to be Bryn on the Big Island in Hawaii, but Tulum also had a lot of like massively fun and funny adventures, for sure. Actually, Miami too. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's kind of hard to say, but I think my all-time favorite probably is that epic day with Bryn, and ending with the hike that turned into like the craziest hike of all time, where
it really did.
Yeah,
it did. I mean, that was definitely. There were so many things that happened within that trip that really stand out.
I mean, even just basically like we decided on the fly that we were going to do this shoot, and we needed a location for sunrise, and then so serendipitously ended up being able to shoot at this absolutely stunning private property, but felt it was like the edge of the world, right?
Yeah.
On the northeast shore of the Big Island. And got there like the misty morning before like the sun had even come up, and it was just so incredibly magical. My camera totally started malfunctioning because like there was way too much water and moisture everywhere, but we were getting these epic shots of her like hanging over the cliffs because she's a total daredevil. And then we ended up, because my camera was being so funky, like stopping like midday and getting a Polaroid camera in town and shooting like a whole bunch of like cool crazy stuff with that, like on all the bright colors, and then ending up on that hike, and it was like quicksand mud, remember?
Oh my gosh,
for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour hike.
And it felt almost like this hike would never end. Like we just kept going and being like, oh, it has to be right around the corner.
And then like right as we get to like the end of it, my shoe, remember I got stuck in there and I pull it up and like the whole sole of my sneaker came apart. And so I just abandoned them, which meant being completely barefoot on the way back. And then Bryn was like literally climbing trees like Jane from like, you know, Jane of the Jungle.
And she was barefoot the entire time.
And she was barefoot the whole time, which, I mean, she's a Hawaii girl, so that probably helped. But
what's on your lips real quick.
I think what I loved the most about that is that every single one of us was so down for the adventure, and that at each time too, though, there were these moments where like, are we gonna make it out of this adventure? Are we gonna actually like survive it?
Yes.
And then
also my husband was here throughout this whole entire thing, so it was the four of us kind of experiencing, especially during this hike, just like, when is this gonna end, and what's coming up next? And we literally walked out of this hike in pitch black nighttime.
Totally.
Couldn't
totally
see a single thing.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. But then the images.
Oh, the images are amazing.
So my favorites that we've ever done of all time. And yeah, just looking at each different section too, I mean, it feels like each one was like the suspended moment in time.
Yep. That was such a fun trip.
Okay, here's one other really good story though. Remember?
Before we jump into that, let me catch us up really quick on what I just did. So I already did bronzer. I then used the Nude Sticks Picante. This is a multitasking balm and it's for your eyes, your cheeks, and your lips. So I just applied it quickly on her cheekbones, applied a little bit on her eyes and a little bit on her lips. So that's just gonna give her a little bit of like that warmth and color, but not necessarily like scream makeup. So you really used it as a multi-use product. I like to call it a monochromatic look where you're using the same color in your eyes, your cheeks, and your lips to like get you a quick look.
I think that's actually my favorite thing that you've taught me too, and being able to have like one stick in my makeup bag that I can use for everything.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like very easeful and like I can travel with that and everything too.
For sure. I mean, it's like the best for any time where you have to have yourself look presentable, but like feel really good about it, but you literally have a very minimal amount of time. And it's a very quick, easy go-to. And next, I'm gonna go ahead and use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I use this in every single video. This is in the color Ginger. I'm gonna use this to just help like even out her skin tone a little bit more. So what was the other story you were just gonna mention?
I was just thinking of like another one of my all-time favorite moments and then images like for that's gonna be part of like the fine art show and stuff too, is in the cenote. But how we ended up like very serendipitously meeting this couple that we were shooting with while we were also shooting brand shoots for this girl who is talented and hilarious. And we ended up at like a private cenote that literally was somebody's backyard, like this kid that grew up in a, can you imagine, you grow up in a house and you have a cenote instead of a pool in your backyard, like the most beautiful cenote, not open to the public. And we are shooting these like really sexy, gorgeous shots with this couple in the water, and it's just like stunningly beautiful. And then I look over and our other girl who we are doing the brand shoots for, who's there too, she has this, which I don't even remember what she was recording for, but something where she is like such a comedian, but we didn't know it at the time, like what she was doing. And I look over and she's literally climbing up on top of Meagan's husband's shoulders. She's on cycles. She's like,
and also in very minimal clothing, and she's like climbing up my husband onto his back
because there's this big rope. And just using him as a human ladder, and finally, and he's like, what is going on? And she finally gets up there, and then like Tarzan again, just like swings out of the cenote.
Oh my gosh.
And then like let's go and plops down into the water. All of this while we're having like this really sexy, sensual experience over here. And I remember just looking over and be like, what is happening? And it turned out to just be one of like the most brilliant videos though of all time, because she was filming it. Yeah,
for sure.
It was so comical. I was like, get this girl a show.
It was
the contrast,
yes,
between the two, and then looking back at those images and just remembering how all of that came together in such a magical way. Like everything about that trip just was unfolding in ways we did not plan or expect.
Which is basically how every single trip and every shoot has always like happened. Like it always just comes together. And also in like the most magical way, like we literally couldn't plan it to work better if we wanted to. Which is what makes it so much fun.
I mean, that's what's so fun about shooting with you too, is because like we both love the adventure and the creation and the spontaneity. And I think I would probably drive another makeup artist crazy with my ideas. And instead, you're like, what if we did this? And like totally encouraging me. Yes. And then bringing in all these amazing elements.
Yep.
So
we have a lot of fun.
I think when we first started doing that is when I fell in love with you.
It's always a good time. Okay, I'm I'm gonna go ahead and just set your makeup with a little bit of loose powder. Not much, because I still want her to have just like really radiant glow, but just enough to where we're keeping product in place and to where it's not gonna completely disappear. So go ahead and look up with your eyes.
So you put the concealer just like a little bit under my eyes, and then where else did you put it too?
I actually started like through the center of your face just to create a little bit of brightness.
Cool.
Through here.
Okay.
I took a little bit on the bottom of your chin. I took a little bit on the forehead. But you also have like your blush and your bronzer surrounding those areas already. So
it just gives it like a little more definition.
Yeah, and like a little bit of contrast, because I'm using light tones near the bronzy tone, which is a little darker, and the color of that stick by Nude Sticks. So we have a few different contrasting products right next to each other that help enhance each other. So you can see like I barely have any product in the brush when I'm doing this, but it's like just enough to catch the tiniest bit of shine and just set everything in place. And I'm gonna do the same thing on her lid. So anytime you have a cream on your eyes, you could either use a eyeshadow primer first if you really want it to stay in place. But for the sake of like a quick makeup application, you can apply a cream there and then just use a little loose powder on top. And then if you're really wanting to see that color pigment again, you can then just either go back over with the cream, or you can take a quick eyeshadow, which I'm just gonna use this Pat McGrath palette. I'm gonna use this warm brown tone with a soft blending brush, and I'm just gonna actually like softly apply it on the base of her lid. And it does not have to be super perfect. I'm just gonna kind of keep blending this to where you really can't tell where it stops or starts. And this is just gonna give her a little bit more pop along around those warm tones. This is kind of like a take it or leave it step. You don't have to take a shadow into the eye area if you don't want to. But you can see how it just gives a little bit of push, a little bit of pop of color to contrast against her eyes too.
Cool.
I'm gonna go back with this cream product and just kind of replace some of this color on her cheeks, just because we kind of lost a little bit once I set it with the loose powder. And I just want to see a little bit more. Now, because I am layering a cream on top of what I just set with powder, I have to make sure that I'm tapping onto the skin instead of rubbing back and forth. Otherwise, it's going to pull the product that I just put on underneath. So by tapping, it's going to help press the product into the skin without removing.
I noticed you doing this too, like where you just like rub it and then just use it right there, so it all stays kind of like right there on your hand.
Like on my fingertips?
Yeah, on your fingertips.
So I do that because if I was to just put my fingertip on like this, there's gonna be too much product in one space, like one part of your face. So if I blend it and make it more consistent onto my fingertips, I have a little more control over a very minimal amount being applied. And then I like switch my fingertips constantly to like reapply product and then remove the product at the same time. Okay, I am really happy with where that color is. And again, just to kind of enhance the glow effect, I'm actually going to use this Lit Up Highlight Stick by Gucci Westman. And I'm actually going to put this on the back of my hand first. So you could definitely see that it has like a high shine to it. And I'll have you turn your head that way a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing with just pressing this on top of the cheekbone. When it's your own product, you can definitely feel free to put it on to your face directly, but even on myself, I tend to do this again, because if I was to put it on right now with all the product underneath, it might pull some of the product up instead of laying it on top. But you can see, go ahead and turn your head like a little bit more this way and then back again. You can definitely see how it gives like a really high shine to her skin and her complexion with where we want it, which would be like around the eyes. So next, I'm gonna jump into just giving a little tiny bit more shape to her brows. I want them to be really, really natural looking still. So I am going to first start by brushing them, kind of like creating the shape as much as I can, just with nothing, and brushing them as much as I can. And then I'm gonna just take a look at both brows at the same time and figure out where can I place a little bit of product to just give them more balance, but not look like there's a whole bunch of product in her brow. So I'm gonna go just like directly into the arch, and like this product This is by Valentino Beauty. It's their brow trio. You can see that this is like a very ashy brow tone, but a little tiny bit comes off of this pen. So I'm not too worried about it getting really dark because there's a very minimal amount that's actually going to be able to be applied. And then if I do happen to get too much product on her brows, I can just brush it right on through. And I'm not going to do any product in the center of her brows because I feel like this is very even, and I like how natural they look. So I really just wanted to get a little bit here into the arch. And I'm gonna brush that through again. Okay, mascara is on, and I'm just gonna apply a little bit more of this picante color on her lips because I really want this like burnt orangey tone. It's almost like a wash of color. This looks super intense, but it does not actually apply that way. So if you look at my like swatch on my hand, you see how it's like a wash of color. It is not this color.
I was curious in the beginning.
Sometimes it can be hard to tell. Sometimes products will look exactly like this.
Wow.
Versus like a watercolor version of it, you know? Okay, rub together again. And that's just gonna kind of continue to look more and more subtle. Okay, that's the breakdown of our pretty mermaid, glowy, sun-kissed look. If you loved this breakdown of this quick and easy look, then definitely be sure to like and comment below. Let us know what your favorite step was and maybe what you plan to implement into your own application. It's always good to hear from you and see what you are liking from these videos. All right, so here is our finished look.
I love it.
So just like, here, you can take this, move your hair around, quick and easy. Anything that you want to be adjusted at all.
I would wear this every single day, so I'm really excited that it was like very simple, and I feel like I could actually do this. This is gorgeous.
Yeah, quick and easy. And I just really love like that orange, like warm tone on you. Like I like a lot of warmth within your complexion.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
so
being my model. And before we start talking about all of our photo shoot stuff, it was fun.
I'm super excited.
I can't wait to see you.
I love you. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.